Battlefield 5 had one of the worst launches in franchise history. The game dropped in late 2018 and fans were not happy. From the historical inaccuracies to the lack of content, and the now infamous "don't buy it" moment from a DICE developer. Battlefield 5 started off in flames, but somehow, over time, it got good. Really good. So what changed? Let's rewind. At launch, Battlefield 5 had a severely limited map rotation, barely any content, and no iconic World War II battles. Fans expected D-Day, Normandy, Stalingrad. Instead, we got Norway and a couple of generic maps. On top of that, the TTK, Time to Kill, was inconsistent. Netcode was messy and progression felt unrewarding. Morale was low, and DICE knew it. But here's the thing, DICE didn't abandon Battlefield 5, they doubled down. Over the next 2 years, they released massive updates that reshaped the entire game. First, they addressed core gameplay. Gunplay was overhauled. Movement felt smoother. The TTK was tweaked repeatedly until it hit that sweet spot. DICE also fixed visibility issues. More enemies blending into the environment like camouflage ghosts. Then came the content. And this is where Battlefield 5 really turned around. The Pacific Theater update in late 2019 was a game changer. 2 words. Iwo Jima. The new maps were beautiful, intense, and felt like true Battlefield moments. The addition of classic weapons, Japanese and American factions, and amphibious warfare made it feel like a proper WW2 experience. New modes like Outpost and Grind focused. Events gave players reasons to keep playing. DICE also introduced new elite characters, weapons, vehicles, and progression rewards in frequent updates. Another key factor? Communication. DICE actually listened. They interacted with the community, acknowledged issues, and focused on what players wanted. They didn't fix everything perfectly. Firestorm, their Battle Royale mode, never found its footing, but the core multiplayer experience became solid. By 2020, Battlefield 5 wasn't a joke anymore. It was a competent, fun, and visually stunning shooter. And for many players, it even rivaled Battlefield 1. It may not have launched well, but DICE pulled off a rare redemption arc. However, the magic trick they pulled with BFV? That formula, community feedback, content drops, time and polish, wouldn't work in their next game. Because Battlefield 2042 wasn't just broken. It was fundamentally empty. Let's be real. Battlefield 2042 wasn't just a bad launch. It was a disaster. When the game released in 2021, it didn't just lack polish. It lacked identity. No campaign. No proper scoreboard. No voice chat at launch. Specialists instead of classes. It felt more like an identity crisis than a Battlefield game. Compared to Battlefield 5, which had a foundation rooted in World War II authenticity. 2042 was built on a futuristic setting nobody really asked for. The class system replaced by hero shooter style. Specialists alienated longtime fans. Instead of playing a medic or assault class, you picked a quirky character with one gimmicky ability. It stripped away teamwork, it damaged immersion, and it wasn't fun. The maps, giant lifeless arenas designed for 128 players, but without the chaos or scale we expected. These maps weren't crafted for conquest, they felt like tech demos. No cover, long sightlines, and completely forgettable layouts. And the bugs? Oh, the bugs. Rubber banding, missing hit registration, game crashes, broken animations. Battlefield 2042 felt like an early access title with a Teon de CTTO price tag. But here's why fixing it was nearly impossible. DICE wasn't just dealing with technical bugs. They were trying to fix design decisions that were baked into the core of the game. Things like the specialist system, the UI, and the flat, uninspired maps weren't just broken, they were misguided from the start. Yes, DICE did patch things. They brought back the class system in spirit. They redesigned maps. They rebalanced weapons and reintroduced a scoreboard. But it was all damage control. They weren't refining a flawed game like they did with Battlefield 5. They were retrofitting a game that never had a clear direction to begin with. Even Portal, the game's most promising feature, fizzled out. It was a sandbox that had potential, but without long-term support or compelling modes, it became a novelty. Ultimately, Battlefield 2042 didn't get a redemption. Arc because it couldn't be redeemed the same way. The foundation wasn't solid. The vision wasn't clear. And while DICE worked hard to stabilize the game, it never became the Battlefield experience fans wanted. Battlefield 5 started off rough, but it had heart and a fixable framework. Battlefield 2042, it launched soulless, and no patch can bring back what was never there. So where does Battlefield go from here? If there's one thing, the saga of Battlefield, V and Battlefield 2042 has taught us, it's that DICE knows how to fix a game, but only if that game has a solid foundation to build on. With Battlefield 5, that foundation was already there. The gunplay, the era, the potential for massive cinematic battles, it just needed time, polish, and feedback. But with 2042, the very core was cracked. Still, all is not lost. Because with every misstep, there's a lesson. And if EA and DICE want the next Battlefield to succeed, they need to listen to what these two games taught them. Lesson 1. Know your audience. Battlefield fans aren't looking for a hero shooter. They don't want Fortnite skins or voice lines every 5 seconds. They want large-scale, squad-based warfare. They want destruction, chaos, teamwork, and yes, they want classes. Bring back the classic formula. Refine it. Don't reinvent the wheel. Lesson 2. Launch with substance. Battlefield 5 and 2042 both suffered from thin content at release. A handful of maps, modes, and weapons isn't enough. The next game needs to launch complete. That means a robust map rotation, meaningful progression, and features like VIP, scoreboards, and proper server browsers on day one. Lesson 3. Authenticity matters. One of the reasons Battlefield 1 and even Battlefield 5 were beloved, despite rocky starts, was because of their atmosphere. The sounds, the setting, the attention to detail. 2042 lacked that completely. The world felt hollow. The tone was off, and without immersion, you lose the very soul of Battlefield. Lesson 4. Don't forget Portal. It may not have reached its full potential in 2042, but Portal was genius. A custom tool that lets fans recreate old Battlefield experiences with modern tech. That's gold, but it needs proper support. Dev-curated playlists, community spotlights, constant updates. Turn it into the Forge mode of Battlefield and give it the love it deserves. And finally, Lesson 5. Communication is key. One of the biggest reasons Battlefield 5 was able to recover was because DICE talked to the players. They didn't hide. They addressed concerns, admitted missteps, and involved the community in the process. That transparency built trust. And trust is what 2042 lost early, and never got back. So now we wait. The next Battlefield is in development. Rumors swirl about a return to modern warfare. A proper class system. Maybe even a campaign. But this time, fans aren't going to blindly pre-order. Not after 2042. DICE needs to earn that trust again. The franchise is at a crossroads. It can either go back to what made it legendary or fade into mediocrity, trying to chase trends that never fit the Battlefield name. But if they get it right, if they take the lessons from Battlefield, V's redemption, and the scars from 2042's failure, then maybe, just maybe, the next Battlefield could be the comeback of the decade. And this time, they won't need 2 years to fix it.